How a joy it must be for you to reach a remarkable number of 300. It's quite an accomplishment you've attained. So thank you for putting yourself out there in time and effort to create all that and to bring all of these people, all of these mediums and spiritualists. I guess I'm a channeler, so each one I guess that you've met with has a different name, or so it's a great joy and thank you for bringing this all together as you have done. Chosen to express yourself and focus your time and energy to create this form of gathering and communication and sharing that touches and awakens and educates so many of us as we have opportunity to listen to these videos. This being the 300th, but all of them that you have done before this and those that will come after. Thank you for being one who co-creates this medium of being together in communication and sharing and education.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Jefferson, and today we are going to have the dialogue number 300, and it's once again going to be with an extraterrestrial being. His name is Arvantis, and he's from the Arcorians Society. A couple of years ago, Shaun and myself, we got together and wrote a book with him called Feline Humans. And in there, we got to meet his society, how they live and how they see life. And today, Shaun hopefully is going to bring Arvantis to talk to us at Dialogue with the Spirits number 300. Shaun, are you there? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you very well, Jefferson.
Oh, fantastic.
Wonderful to be here with you this afternoon.
Great. So I'm very thankful that you are kindly accepting my invitations for these dialogues.
Yes, this is great, exciting fun. Thank you for the invitation.
Great, thanks. So tell us just a little again, how was it for you to, because you were a channel for Aishwa from the Yael Society, how was it for you to meet this new being from a different society?
It was quite enjoyable.
Right. So when you were channeling, do you feel very differently, or
somewhat different from Arvantis to Aishwa? There is a difference to some degree, yes, that I sense. But right, how to explain it? It's really, you have to feel it to understand it, I think.
Mm-hmm. All right, fantastic. So whenever you're ready, we are ready for that.
Oh, very well. Thank you. I will step aside and bring Arvantis of the Arcorian feline civilization through. So,
great.
You enjoy, talk about whatever, ask questions as you wish, and I'll see you when I get back.
See you then. Thank you.
Joyful to be with you once again, dear Jefferson, the counterpart on earth of mine. Yes, how are you doing this wonderful day of our time together?
It's lovely to speak to you again, Arvantis.
Yay.
Wow. Oh my God. So let's just explain, people, when you say counterpart of mine, what does that mean?
The idea you are, in that sense, a multidimensional, an infinite being who has lifetime simultaneous, in a sense, here and now. Beyond the idea of linear time, of past, present, and future, there is the now, the infinite. in which you exist in a multiple number of ways, as Jefferson, yes, in Brazil on planet Earth, and also as that then I, Arvantis, of the Arcorian civilization. We are in the sense of the same soul in that idea, expressing ourselves through two human physical expressions, I an Arcorian human and you an Earth human in that idea. Yes, we both exist in the now, in the present, in that idea. Yes, there is the idea in the linear time frame of past, present, and future. I am on a different timeline in that sense, but connecting to my now, thus then I can connect to your now, in this moment, here and now.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. It's definitely a little bit hard for the most of us to understand. And do you think that is so because of our conditioning?
Yes, you are in that sense growing up and every moment generally focused on the idea of past, present, and future. That type of experience is the predominant one in your world, and therein it is challenging to really tune in and experience the idea of multidimensionality, to connect to that counterpart of yours that I am to you, or even that idea, you might think of it as past lifetimes of yourself or future lifetimes of yourself that also in the non-linear time frame exist here and now. Yes, it can be challenging.
Certainly. So you are in the future.
That you can say on linear time frame. Yes, past, present, and future. I am of the Arcorian in that sense, of your future, in that timeline, past, present, and future idea. But here I am in my now, connecting to you and your now.
Sure. And how, in that sense, in that way of looking at it, how far in the future are you?
There, the idea, we will say approximately 300 years today is the timeline I am focused on coming from to you.
Right. And how old are you since the day you were born until today? How old are you in your civilization?
I am in the neighborhood of 44, that you could think of it in that idea.
44. And you live up to what age?
I, in that sense, haven't really decided. But there will be a number of good years ahead of me.
But tell us a little bit about the average for us to have an idea.
That is a little bit of a changing matter as well. As you and your world are shifting and raising in frequency, I and those of the Arcorian civilization are as well. So there is opportunity for us to move out in a little bit. You might think of it between 250 to 350 years, perhaps, potentially, as our, in that sense, consciousness and physical dimensionality rises up into higher vibrations. There is opportunity for a little bit more longevity.
Understood. Fantastic. And now, what do you look like?
I am, in a sense, you would think, taller than the average human in that sense. Yes, very, you might think of it as large physiology, very muscular in that sense. But there is the idea that we have a height that is taller than most in average on your planet as well. Yes, my hair generally is a very thick, in that sense, thicker than most Earth humans' hair in that sense, and long at this time, generally of a dark brown, almost of a black appearance at this timing, and goes down in that sense beyond perhaps a foot past the shoulder height in terms of the length of hair in that sense. And I have in that way similar in terms of fingers and toes, feet and hands, arms in that sense, 2 legs and all as you have there, very similar in that respect.
I see. Let's talk a little bit about colorations. What is the color of your skin?
There is some of a bluer tint to it. You might think of it like sky blue.
Right. And what is the coloration of your eyes?
That then has a bit of a green, bluish radiance in it, yes.
Right. And you do have nose like we do.
Yes.
You said in the book that your noses are a little bit smaller than ours.
There is some
Average.
variation on average in that regard, yes.
I see. And what is your diet? What do you eat to survive?
There, the idea, you might think of it as somewhat like not exactly the plants, not exactly the leaves, but more the limbs, very soft fibrous tissue of the plants, somewhat like trees and shrubs that you have in your world, somewhat that idea of the very flexible, thin limbs of trees and plants, shrubs, and that idea. We do eat some of the green, some of the leaves in that sense. And there are, in that idea, you might think of it like berries that you have in your world, some
Yes.
of the idea of seeds that you have in your world. They are different, yes, in that sense, than you have, but they serve a similar function in that idea. So not then do we eat what you might think of as the other life forms on our world. That we do not do.
I see. And do you have seasons like we do?
There are some, in that sense, times where there is, you might think of it as colder and warmer seasons in that idea. A little bit of the idea of moisture. Not exactly like the rain you have. It is more like a fog that you have. Moisture that comes in the shape of fog. And there are seasons where we have more of that. And then the drier, in that idea, warmer, more of the sunshine seasons. So it cycles through between that idea, sun and the fog, the moisture.
If you expose your skin too long to the sunshine, do you get any kind of skin problem?
Not in the sense of sunburn, no, not like that. There is a understanding or a sensing that we have had enough in that idea if it is necessary to find what you might think of as shade. We in that way are very aware, intuitively alert to move into the shade before anything would have harm caused the skin. But then if we were to encounter fire, as you in your world have, that would be of damage to our skin, potentially, yes.
How does your race reproduce itself?
Not that different from your world, really.
Understood. So, do ladies get pregnant?
That is similar, yes.
I see. And how long have you been into your mom's womb?
It would be generally a shorter time frame than your world, by approximately 1 to 2 months.
Oh, I see.
In average.
And that's okay. That's the average. All right. And when you we hear that in some planets, when some people are born and it takes a week or two, or a month or two, or a year or two, and they are able to walk and talk just like an adult. How does it work in your planet?
That occurs a little more rapidly relative to your world, in that idea, yes.
Right. But
by
not
several years. Generally at a very young age, approximately 1 to 2 years, very active and aware and conscious of their surroundings, the young ones are.
I see. When can we define the passage from infancy, from the childhood to the teenagerhood? Can we see a difference there?
Well, there's growth and maturity of that nature, yes.
I see.
But the physical age would be, in that sense, it would occur more rapidly. The maturation, in terms of the idea of age of reaching the teen years, would, in that sense, come faster for us. Not in that idea better, it's simply faster.
Yes. I see. Well, here we are a child up to the years of 12, up to 12 years. Then we started the teenagerhood. How does it work with you? How long do you remain as a child?
approximately 2 to 3 years, and then moving up into the 8 to 17 years, perhaps somewhat like a teen to young adult age.
Mhm.
And that
And
can
then,
in times often be fulfilled by the age of 12, 13, that one becomes more of an adult at that time frame,
I
potentially.
see. And then, what are the responsibilities that you give to an individual in differences? Say, for the child, what responsibility do you give to the children, and then to the teenagers, and then to the young adults?
They, in that way, will identify what they are prepared for in terms of responsibility. Yes, they simply will
So,
take action in that direction. And that we then know what they are ready to do, prepared to do, capable of doing. They inform us.
that's great. That's something, how to say, something easy to deal with, because then you already know because they tell you, right?
Yes, and often there is simply a knowing for the adults. They simply sense that.
Oh,
And there
I
is
see.
an
Eh,
unspoken agreement of their readiness to take on certain responsibilities.
hmm. What generally a child does that an adult doesn't do?
The idea, do they eat more ice cream and candy?
It could be. No, but like I don't know, like playing or staying around dad and mom, or swimming, and then how does it work?
At the youngest age, generally closer to the parents in that sense, for supervision and the idea of some of the support for nutrition and shelter, and that idea until they become more aware of who they are and their surroundings. And then
Mhm.
they can begin to be more, in that sense, autonomous amongst the community. And then it isn't that they really do anything that different because of their age, more because of their interests that they do things different.
Oh, I
So there
see.
isn't the
Right.
need then for them to be on the playground as you have in your world necessarily, going on swing sets and merry-go-rounds. Not necessary for them in that idea at the young age to do that activity.
Mhm. I see. Wow. And through, I want to talk about the way you govern society. How do you organize yourselves to live in community? Government, how does it work for you?
There are within our civilization those who have particular abilities to do certain functions, and some of them are simply in that idea born into the role. They enjoy in that idea being ones who bring others together and share perspectives on the direction that the community can move forward into. In that idea, there are others who are more gifted in that, born into the role of sharing information related to approaches in terms you might think of as self-governance, to share with each person matters that would relate to how they, each and every one of us, can function amongst the community in a way that would be self-governing in that sense. So there in this, then we are all understanding of particular ideas and procedures, and in a sense you might think of it as processes, steps, types of behavior and interaction with one another in other realms and other people, other worlds. We simply become aware of that and what we are all in agreement to doing, and how we are all in agreement to functioning with one another and others in a way that this is all based in cooperation and the idea of functioning together very synchronistically, easily. And that idea, that is the form of government, really self-governance in a sense, by being aware of how to interact with one another in ways that acknowledge one another, that support one another. In that idea, there is self-governance in that sense. No need for anyone outside to step in and take action as a policing authority or a legal court system in that sense, to say you didn't do this right, so now you have to serve time. We, in that idea, do not have that kind of law-breaking activities. And for we all understand clearly how to function autonomously, synonymously, synchronistically with one another in a way that's very fulfilling and very enjoyable for each and all of us. So we don't get in each other's way, we support one another in every way.
I see. So I would suppose that's about the same that you do as a society with education.
Yes, generally there is that which is learned. Young one perhaps becomes aware of information through interaction with others who already have the knowledge, who are already functioning and aware of particular knowledge. It's almost as if it is passed down through a immediate download, yes, in a sense. The idea is there are some things that young ones or even adults can still learn, and there are opportunities to sit in like a classroom with those who are gifted at talking about certain subjects and enjoy doing so. Then young ones can sit in and learn more about that particular topic if it is of interest to them to do that. And if it is not, then it is no need for them to be there, and they will not be required to be in a setting or like a classroom to listen to topics that are being shared, being taught, that they have no interest in that sense. So there is that way of learning and that way of each then guiding themselves to the appropriate teacher, in the sense by simply following what is of interest and excitement to them. And in that way they land in the appropriate place. They find themselves in the appropriate space, listening to and learning from those who will be best suited to share with them the education, information.
Do you tend to have family values in the way that we do? Meaning, I grew up with my mom and dad, and then people tend to like them more than other people, and when they go far or stay far from them, then they miss them, they miss home. How does it work with you in your society? Do you miss a family, and how does it work?
Not in that sense, missing and feeling sad. There can at times be the idea of having an interest in interacting with someone that might be in a distance, another planet, another region of space and time in that sense, yes. For often there are those who go traveling and might leave family or community, and they might, in a sense, have a desire to be back with those family or community, and not because of physical distance necessarily be able to be there right away. But understanding that all things are always changing, they know that they can focus on where they are, and whatever has brought him into that location is there to provide them with an opportunity to experience more of the infinite, the unconditional love that they are, in a way that can be very enjoyable for them. So when they then focus on that, they will tune into experiences related to that opportunity that are then free of feeling sad, free of feeling as though they are missing someone. The idea is, if they are focused on missing someone and feeling sad, then they are not able to focus on the more enjoyable opportunities in each and every given moment to feel more uplifted and more experience of exhilaration and fascination with each moment as it unfolds. So they know not to focus on feeling sad, because it will prevent them from experiencing the opportunities that would otherwise be able to come through them to experience joyfulness and newness and freshness. That may even be an opportunity to connect to one of their family or community that suddenly has traveled and arrives at where they are on their travels in that sense. So there are a variety of ways to explore the idea, but basically, no, we do not feel a sense of sadness from not being present with family or community when one of us has traveled. Or even the idea, perhaps, let's say that one has passed on, and the idea you think of as dying or has died in that sense. That does not provide us with any excitement to feel sad or depressed for having lost one in that idea, for we understand they are still with us in heart and soul, and on the realm of now, certainly they are with us, and we know we will meet up with them again in the realm of linear time, past, present, and future, meet up with them again in another experience. You might think of it as another lifetime, and we will have opportunity to be with them in that timing again as well.
Oh, joy. So we are talking a little about distances. How do you overcome distances? Do you teleport yourselves? Do you have machines or crafts? How does it work?
We do have something like teleportation upon the planet, but not exactly that. When we move from location, you might think of it as planet to planet. Therein, often that is through what you would think of as a living being that loves to travel in that sense. That takes us along for the ride. Somewhat like a spaceship, but it is a living, conscious, sentient being, yes? Not exactly like you would think of as flesh and blood human, but it is all the same a living, sentient being that loves to travel and loves to bring people along for the ride. So we will in that way get aboard a living spacecraft. Yes, a traveler of space and time.
So is that spacecraft a machine that our Korean humans can do with technology, or is it born like you were born from an animal?
It is more of a combination over time, a modification, the idea, a blending of those ideas.
Okay, let's call it hard for us human on Earth understand.
You do not have anything like that on your world at this time to relate to.
Right. Without a reference point, it's really hard. But how big is your planet comparing to ours?
There is the idea generally, you might think of it at this timing, that being of larger than yours, but not by a large factor of size.
I see. Just a little bit larger.
At this timing, yes.
Right. Well, we have pictures that seem to be real. I'm not sure. I've never been there in space. But what color does your planet, well, our planet is supposedly blue, but from outside, what color is your planet when we look from outside the planet?
Generally at this timing, more of a greenish hue with some brown, some of that idea at this timing.
And when you guys come to our planet, what color does it present itself for your senses?
It is, as you, in that idea of blue and white, and that idea of some browns and greens as well.
All right. Now, let's just to finish the topic. You said you teleport yourselves, so
like
basically
teleportation,
you get inside a machine. Sorry?
Not exactly teleporting, but similar.
Similar, right?
Yes.
What is teleportation, and what do you do, and what's the difference between teleportation and what you do?
Well, therein the idea is we do not have a particular, in that sense, time shift to a different timeline necessarily of past, present, and future. In that sense, we don't move back and forth in the future and the past in that sense. In this particular mode of travel upon our planet, to move from one area of our planet to another, it is more of an instantaneous repositioning of ourselves in that sense, as if each location upon the planet has its own coordinates, its own frequency, and we thus then simply tune in to those different coordinates of frequency that we prefer to be focused in and manifest in upon our planet, and thus then there we are in that idea.
I see. So basically you have understood that location is a variable of the equation of your being. So if you change the variable location of this equation, you stop being in one place and you start being somewhere else.
How we experience our presence in that sense, similar to that, yes?
Mm-hmm. Wow. But we usually think about it as dematerializing the atomic structure of our physicality, of our physical beingness, and materializing it back together somewhere else. Is it what happens to you, or it's something different?
It is different in that idea, yes. For we are already at the other location, we then focus our awareness in that other location. And that is where we are aware thus then of being. The atoms, the body, it is already there in a sense.
I see. Wow. Okay, let's say I go to your planet. First of all, that's possible, but only when you take me there, right? And if you take me there.
There are others who could do this, yes, but not then could you do it yourself at this timing.
Right, I can't do it, and I can't do using any technology presently available in my planet.
Yes, but there are other civilizations who could bring you there, besides us, besides the Arcorian civilization. There are other human extraterrestrial civilizations that could bring you there, potentially, yes.
Have I already been to your planet?
There has been occasion for this.
How did that happen in order for us to make an illustration so people can understand the steps and then perhaps not be so afraid of, because I'm here, I'm back, and I'm healthy. So it's not like, oh my God, this is something to be afraid of or frightened about. So let's go over the steps, if you will. Well, step one, I think I had to have the intention and the will for us to connect, right?
This is, yes, necessary. Your agreement to this passage.
Great. And then what happened in this occasion that I went there? This was the first step. And then the second step, what happened?
There was the idea of a shift of your, you could say, in this instance for you, more of a molecular atomic shift. This then is somewhat like the idea of teleportation, more so, in that then you are, in a sense, being almost departicleized in your location and then brought aboard our craft in a new particleization format of physical expression. That idea, then you're in a, you could say, form that is able to be transported with us into our location, aboard our planet in that sense.
I see. So basically my body was sleeping somewhere or awakened or I don't know. And then you guys came with your craft and then the body left that place where it was. So if someone was going to look for me at that moment, at that place, they wouldn't find it because I went aboard the craft.
That in an instant you were gone, and in an instant you were back. Yes? So they, in that sense, might not have noticed you out of the room.
Right. Because you can time travel.
In that sense, it would seem to you perhaps to be a long time and might not then, in your world, really have been for a long time. But you could have experienced it as having been a long time.
All right.
Your sense of time and perspective is adjusted to do this.
Right. So where was I the day that I went with you? How did you pick me up?
Well, that then would be with a team, in a sense, working to adjust you and to bring you aboard in that sense. Yes. And therein, how and specifically as a matter of technology, in a sense, an understanding of the intimate nature of life forms that also assist and facilitate this transition, this transformation, understanding that they exist and how they function with the technologies and with intentions, and that idea to be aware of their presence therein is something often those in your world have no awareness of. So to begin to explain exactly how this all occurs requires more awareness of this life form that facilitates this form of transformation, the departicularization of your physiology into that upon our craft in a way that allows for the transportation to occur. And that idea there is to become more aware of these life forms that work with us as a team, in a sense. There are those like a team that work to make the shift, the transportation possible for you.
Some people break apart the spirit into 7 bodies, and the physical body being one, the etherical, and then the astral body. So when I went there, I went with my physical body, not the astral body.
It would have been the idea primarily your physical, emotional, mental aspects.
Understood.
As you, in a sense, observe and experience them in your current awareness state of being.
Understood. Okay, so then it's not like you came with the craft, project a light, and then I and neutralized the how do you call it, the density of my body, and then I started floating up and up to the craft. This is not what happened.
There is a different form in which we interact with you in this. There are a variety of ways this can be done by other civilizations, have other functions and other ways they approach this. But that then we do not have to beam light upon you and in that sense pull you up through a shaft of light in that sense. That is not then our functioning protocol.
Great. And was my spirit guide or my guardians aware that this was going to happen? Yes?
Yes.
Right. And was I as well in spirit aware that this was going to happen?
Yes.
Great. And once this happened, how did my my ego, or meaning my awakened I or my awakened me, reacted to that once I saw you in the craft?
There was interest to faint, you could say.
Okay.
But then that was not then. You were able to remain aware and awake and make the necessary adjustments to understand what was occurring sufficiently to be at ease with it.
Right. Then, okay, then we spoke to one another, I guess. But did you speak Portuguese or English or any language that I know? Or
no,
how?
No earth language.
No earth language. Okay. How did the conversation take place? What happened?
This is more what in your world often is referred to as telepathic communication. The mind, in a sense, understands on that level, communicates on that level, vocabulary very vast on that level. And therein you simply tune into that level of vocabulary, of understanding, of communication. In a sense, it is a language that exists before that which you layer over you in your earth experience as the idea of an English language or a Portuguese language. English and Portuguese and French and German and so on. Those are layers over the internal telepathic vocabulary of knowing how to communicate telepathically.
Wow.
Wherein all of you, there is this ability. It's just that it isn't generally accessible for reasons, you as a collective society have chosen not to access it generally. Some do, to various degrees, but most of you are only beginning to express an interest to connect back more in a telepathic form of communication. In time, your society will be more able to access this again. And the idea is there will not be much need for the various languages that you have on your planet at this timing.
Wow. All right. Then, once we met, how long did it take for us to get from here to your planet?
Well, that was a matter of no time at all.
So you don't travel space, you just relocate yourself.
Yes.
And and once you relocate back, does that mean that you have to go through a tunnel, a light tunnel, or how well, do you relocate yourself the same way you explained teleportation for us before?
That then is not how it would be. Teleportation is something we do not, in that sense, often have access or need to do that.
Right.
But
But
we
when-
are
okay,
then
when-
not.
when we got back
we are
to-
not.
sorry.
We are not with our craft in that idea,
Yes.
departicalizing it necessarily through some mechanical, technical machine mode. That then on some other receiving end, there is a technical machine mode that reassembles particles. That is not then what we are doing. Yes, it occurs more organically in that sense, focusing on the dimension of where it is we intend to be. That then is more an organic process that simply does the shifting for us in that sense. So there is no machine that departicalizes us at one point and reassembles us at another point. Thus then we are not dependent on a machine to do this for us, to break down the particles and to reassemble them somewhere else. The idea if the machine were to break down, we would not come back in that sense. Thus we do not
Right.
function with machine in that way.
Right.
So that idea then, in that definition of teleportation, we did not function in that mode of teleporting through machine means.
I see. It's more organic
Yes.
and it works with dimensions.
Yes, part of the
Right.
nature of existence itself, expressing itself in physical form. More in tune and alignment with that.
The day you picked me up, how old was I?
You were approximately between 7 and 8.
Years old. Okay. And were people able to see your craft above?
No. Not on your
Why?
planet.
Why?
There was no visibility of that dimension that you were focused in to perceive it. It is as though it was cloaked in a sense, for it was at a different vibrational rate.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Then we got to your planet, and then where did it land?
There are, in that sense, a receiving, like a warehouse, a very large room for the craft itself. Yes, a receiving room for the craft itself. And that is where a particular region, where there were others somewhat similar in age to you, that were also in a sense being brought to the location that you could have a gathering to gather, to meet us, to interact with us, and amongst yourselves, others of similar age on Earth humans of similar age from different geographical regions upon your planet, all being brought to the same location on our planet at the same time. The idea, like a gathering, somewhat like a festival for learning and discovery and exploration, with us with you, and you with us, and you amongst yourselves. The idea of those of you of earth with one another, to get acquainted, some of you reacquainted in that idea, to develop relationships in that idea, friendships in that sense, so that upon earth then, in your present awareness and focus that you have now, there are opportunities to connect with others like you who were there in that festival gathering. They are more similar to you in present age now, not the same age. And they do have, in a sense, from this experience of the festival and gathering upon our world, a very interesting resonance you have with them when you meet them. There is this similar experience you have had. You may perceive your meeting with them on earth as being the first time you are meeting them. However, you will feel somehow very connected to them. And that is often the resonance, the feeling of the resonance from the gathering you had with them upon our planet. Therein, do not be surprised if at times you encounter someone, come upon someone who is in that way new to you, and yet somehow very friendly and comforting and familiar to you at the same time.
Understood. And well, if I was a child, I had no intention to work in this capacity that I'm working today or any other way. What justifies my guides and guardians allow this to happen? Why have I been taken there? I know it wasn't just for fun.
Yes, it was all for fun and ice cream and that sort of thing. Festival. There is the opportunity to learn in that way that will support that which you are doing in your present life. Yes, the sense that in that festival, that educational forum and gathering, you gained understanding and insights that support what you are doing today. Frequencies within you of knowing and wisdom and intelligence and understanding that then attract you to opportunities of a similar vibration, synchronistically. In that way, connect you to those who would be most in that way interested in what you are sharing today, supported by, educated by, supporting of, to provide even more learning for you, opportunity for you, enjoyment for you, in that sense, to have more experience of the infinite that you are in ways that can be most exciting for you as this unfolds for you, moment to moment, day to day. Yes, so it is, in that sense, background for you, training for you, for your vibrational state of being. But then you put all of that out and thus get back more experiences that resonate with that, relate to that, are of form and function related to those experiences you thus had in that festival, in that gathering.
Did it excite you to meet your past self from a different embodiment?
Yes, or I would not have done it.
Right. Of course. So, now, okay, then how long was that encounter then?
It was a split second in your Earth time. Yes,
right, because...
But it was a matter of a few weeks in terms of how you experienced the idea on our world of sunrise and sunset.
All right, so in order for me to walk in your planet, the oxygen, the air that you breathe, is it the same as we do?
There are various factors that are different, variations, and there in this location you were are adjustments that have been made to support your physiology.
I see. Like putting a bubble around my body.
Yes, somewhat like that.
That would keep the Earth math in place.
Yes, but it isn't necessarily a bubble that you would see in that idea. That when you are interacting with others, they do not then also have bubbles. You are not bumping into each other's bubbles in that sense and falling over and rolling around in the wind.
Right.
But it functions somewhat like that effectively for you in terms of
Okay,
having the ability to be on our planet and feel comfortable, and for your biology to receive that which it needs to function properly and comfortably for you.
Great. So this is a type of contact where you take people, well, you don't take people. People take themselves with you for a ride.
Yes, it is an agreement then. You and we take one another together to this location, to this experience. We co-create this experience, take ourselves together and co-create this experience together.
Right. Now, let's talk about a different type of contact that did happen between the both of us. It was about the year 2009, from 2007 to 2010, in between that you came down when I was in a different country. Then, well, you did land the craft, or somehow you came into my place and you sat down and you said we had a conversation, right?
There have been a variety of contacts over time with you, and other lifetimes as well.
Oh. Okay, so we are the same soul, and you have been contacting me here as Jefferson, but you have been contacting me as well in my past lives in different time frames.
Yes, so not only this time frame that you had spoken of, but continue then with the question and related to that time frame you ask of.
When you did that contact in particular, that I was already an adult, was about 29 or 30 years old, about that age, and then you came down and okay, what is the difference? Because I am already an adult and I think differently and I can reason. When I saw you, what was my reaction?
Well, there was quite a bit of initial fright in a sense, yes. And you were able to work through that as well. There was a shift of your focus. You were able to adjust, to catch your breath, you might say.
All right. Then did I have to open the door for you to come in, or how does it work? You can't walk through walls just because you are from a different planet.
Well, there was, in that sense, not of that matter of having to walk through doorways or walls, simply are being present with you in the same room.
I see. And then we talked for about 2 hours, right?
There was some opportunity to experience this passage of time together for you.
And then you left.
There was the idea of the perception of us having, and me having left, yes.
Now, what was it for? What was the purpose for that in that time frame?
There were, in that idea, some matters of frequency within your biology that were ready for an adjustment in a way that includes close contact in your space for the most ideal reception of the information, like a software program being applied, downloaded, activated on a computer into your DNA, yet it was your biology, the information, the download into your DNA. The idea is it can be done from a distance, somewhat like you might think of your wireless communication devices, but we wanted to have a more direct link. You might think of it as an analogy more like a cable internet connection, a more direct connection, and that then offered us in the room with you the more direct connection. So the download could be more precise and fine-tuned in your DNA in that sense, as you had chosen and selected it to be in that idea. The information, you had chosen it to occur in this way, agreed in that sense to gather with us.
how many encounters have we had so people can understand that this is more natural than we tend to think? How many encounters have I physically had as I meet my mom or dad with your society and with you? How many?
Well, let's say several, but understand there are also contacts in the dream state as well, daydream and your night dream states as well, that are every bit as real, perhaps, as what you think, perhaps a physical contact. Somehow you might think that to be more real. So
Right.
there have been a multitude of all of these physical dream, daydream, night dream contacts, and that is something a multitude of Earth humans have, a multitude of contacts. Not necessarily with the Arcorians' extraterrestrial civilization, but with a human extraterrestrial civilization that they are more connected to, in a sense. For there are many human extraterrestrial civilizations that have supported the birthing of Earth human civilization as it currently exists in your awareness on Earth.
I see. Now, why I don't remember any of them?
You do not need to, but as you are in your current frequency of awareness, as you rise up to higher dimensions, your consciousness will be more at a match to those frequencies where you had those experiences, and you will begin to, in a sense, think you are having a memory, a recall of those actual contacts. So presently your vibrational focus in your physical realm is at a lower rate than the frequency in which you had the contacts. And thus then there is such a difference in between the two frequencies, the two realms or dimensions. You, in your present aware state, are not able to tune in to that higher one and remember it in that idea. But as you raise in vibration, you will begin to recall, access those encounters at that higher rate of frequency as you rise up to meet those frequencies, to match those frequencies and wherein you had the contacts actually occurring. You do have some memories at times, you just don't, in that sense, identify them as having been with extraterrestrials. You will label them as having been memories that occurred in your, related to your everyday world. And yet they sometimes are symbols relating to actual contacts you have had with us. And sometimes it is so normal, in a sense, so much like your everyday world, the encounters you have with us, that you don't understand they are actually of contact with extraterrestrial. They seem like a memory of something that occurred in your realm, in your current dimensional frequency.
What is the bigger plan behind all these encounters, personal encounters with people? Some say that by 2017 or whatever year, most of us will begin remembering for the reason you just said, vibration raising and stuff. So what is the bigger reason behind this personal encounters and memory? It's not memory implanting, but real event occurring so that the memory can exist. Please explain us.
That is because your civilization has chosen to come back to awareness of its whole nature. The unconditional love, that is your actual nature, that exists in an infinite number of ways that are in experiential potential for you to feel very loving. That to become more aware of your actual nature is the idea, to remember where you come from, to be aware of who you are in a way that allows you all to be self-governing, enjoy every moment of your life fully, with the idea of joyful and abundant ways, abundance and joyful experiences every day, in ways that continuously are fun for you, meaningful for you, in that sense, refreshing to you, new, fulfilling for you in that sense. Our coming back to reconnect with you is a form, one way to remind you, to reconnect, to raise your vibration, so you can reacquaint yourself to yourself from an actual expansive, infinite co-creator perspective. And you can let go of playing the theme on earth of limitation and separation. You can let go of exploring plays of, you might think of it as a haunted house or a scary movie. Instead, you can experience the infinite joy and love, unconditional love, that is reflective of your actual nature. And be, in that sense, free from, 100% free from the ideas of fear and sadness and loneliness and isolation and desolation and friction and fighting and anger and law breaking, and that then you will find all of those discordant illusory ideas no longer will be a part of your experience. You will, because you are choosing to let go of playing around in the scary movie haunted house idea, you will no longer be frightened, no longer be scared or lonely or depressed or filled with fight and anger. You will instead resonate more into your whole unconditionally loving, aware state of being. Therein, you have asked us and others to come back and remind you of your actual unconditionally loving nature. And the idea is you are leaving the stage, the play, the theater of the scary movie of the haunted house and coming back into the, you could think of it as your heavenly nature that is always here for you, the unconditional love that is always present for you. So we are facilitating for you that remembering, that reconnecting, that homecoming in ways that you find to be most fulfilling at a timing and at a rate that is appropriate for you. And there are many other extraterrestrial human civilizations that are a part of this homecoming, reconnecting for you.
Wow. So, speaking of transition, how far down the road do you see us raising enough our vibration and reaching the point where we are able to meet you face to face here on Earth?
That will occur when it does occur. It will occur organically. It will occur because the vibrations are of a sufficient match. There are variations and shifts in those qualities, in those vibrations for us and for you, yes? And so therein, in that sense, we do not have a specific exact time set, for it is in flux. It fluctuates. But when the match is perfect, it will occur. We have ideas of probabilities, yes, when it might be more likely to occur based on our observations of ourselves and your world, yes, the frequencies. But again, it is not necessary for us to provide anything of an actual prediction of a date and time, for if it doesn't come, that will often, if we give it to you and it doesn't occur, can be discouraging to you. And there is, in that sense, no need for us to provide you with information that could be of a discouraging nature when we ourselves are not aware of an exact date and time. And if we give you an idea of a more general date and time, often in your world people do not recall that it was just a general probability date and time, and you begin to label it as being, this is the time and date that they said it would occur, forgetting that we said it only might occur with a certain percentage of probability therein. So we do not offer anything at all, simply to say that when it does occur, it will be appropriate, it will occur more organically, and the timing for this is approaching Yes. The length of time before it happens is shortening, so that it will occur in a time period in your not too distant future. And each of you will define what that is in a different way. We'll let you play with that then.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Now, we are almost finishing our first dialogue here. And I would like you to speak just a little bit about the 4 laws that you respect and your side respect and in the association of worlds respect. Can you speak about them, the 4 laws?
Well, there are the idea in our experience 4 laws that are in that sense how existence, how unconditional love expresses itself in the form of a created format, the idea of a physical format as a part of creation. These then are not actually 4 laws, simply they are the 4 ways in which existence expresses itself in a physical experiential reality. The idea then, you exist, is the first one. Second one is the idea that that which exists can exist in an infinite number of ways, so that one that exists is all that exists, and all that exists is the one that exists. Anything that exists has the same quality as anything else that exists, which is that it exists. Again, existence is all that exists, but it can express itself in an infinite number of ways. There's the idea, perhaps you've heard, love is all there is. So love as existence, or unconditional love, can be also the idea of existence. Unconditional love is all there is, but it can express itself in an infinite number of existing ways. So, there in 3rd law, what you put out is what you get back. The idea how you experience your existing is determined by what you put out about what you think most strongly or believe existence to be. In that sense, for what you put out then is going to attract back to you that quality of experience that matches the vibration that you are sending out. What you send out attracts back what you receive existence to be, how you experience that which exists. What you put out is what you give back. Like the idea of a mirror. Stand in front of a mirror, you see your reflection before you in the mirror. Your reflection in the mirror will not smile until you put out a smile. And once you put out a smile, your reflection has no choice but to smile back at you, in a sense. So what you put out most strongly with your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, then you send that out in a sense, and that then attracts back to you what you see like a reflection in your multidimensional experience of reality. As though reality as you experience it is a multidimensional mirror reflection of what you most strongly put out. Whether it is a smile of thoughts and behaviors and emotions, or a frown of thoughts and beliefs and behaviors and emotions. What you put out is what you give back. How you experience your existence is a reflection of what you put out existence to be. So those are 3. And the 4th one is everything is always changing, except the first 3. The first 3 never change. So again, they're more than laws. They're how experience of creation functions, in that idea therein. This is something you can understand, be mindful of, and when you truly do, you will be able then thus to put out all of your beliefs that are in resonance with these 4 ideas, and thus get back experiences that will allow you to experience your actual unconditionally loving nature. That will be fear and friction free in that sense. So, if you put out that you exist, that you are the one that is the all that is the one, and what you put out is what you give back, and that this is always changing how you are experiencing what you put out and thus get back. If you put that out within every emotion and thought that you do put out, you will only get back a resonance of unconditional love in terms of how you experience your moment-to-moment reality unfolding for you in each moment. And you will be free of illusions that are the idea of friction or pain or sadness or lacking or starvation. For those are all, in the sense, discordant. Those are illusions that are discordant with your actual nature, And they can only be experienced if you're putting out a belief or more than one belief that is not in alignment with those first four ideas. For example, if you put out the idea you are not worthy of being loved, that is an illusion, that is discordant with your actual nature, because again, you exist, and that is unconditional love, so you are unconditional love, that you exist. So you can't be unworthy of being loved. You are love, yes? But if you create the illusion and put out the idea that you are not worthy of love, then you will get back discordant experiences that you are not worthy of love, and that then, in a sense, will be something that will not feel very uplifting or loving to you. That can be something you can experience in an infinite number of ways. The idea of experiencing the illusion that you are not worthy of love is something you can put out in an infinite number of ways, and thus get back an infinite number of illusory experiences that reflect the illusory belief you put out. Thus you will feel not worthy of being loved in any number of one or infinite number of ways. So that is an example of putting out a discordant idea. Again, if you put out that you are unconditional love and all that you are, for you are existence itself, the one that is the all that is the one, therefore you are all that is, simply experiencing yourself as a part of the all of existence that is the one existence, then if you put out that you are unconditional love, you will get back experiences of that, and all experiences you then attract and get back. And there you will be friction-free, pain-free, no more scary movie or haunted house that you will be exploring. So that then there are an infinite number of ways to express this idea, to learn it, to be mindful of it, to experience it. There is that we will share, and I will share with you. Yes, Arvantis of the Orcorian will share that with you in this way, in this timing.
Great. Arvantis.
You can ask yourself to reveal more of this structure, these four ideas, these four laws, within your own experience of life, so you can become more aware of them, more knowledgeable of them, and utilize them in more useful, practical ways in your own life, day to day. Ask yourself to reveal these ideas, these four laws to you in more obvious ways, and you will begin to get information allowing you to be more aware, to see how they function, how you use them to function in your life, to create experience of creation with them, as them. For actually you are these functions of existence in a sense. Yes, they are not separate from you. They are existing. They exist, and so you exist, and so you are all then that same one existence, the one that is the all that is the one. So you can ask to be more aware of them, how you function with these, how you use these four laws in your life each day. And if you do this more and more, then more and more, because you put out the willingness and desire to recognize them more, you will get back more experiences that reveal them to you and allow you to see how you are using them, so you become more of a conscious co-creator in your life with them each day. The more you do this, the more success you will have becoming a conscious co-creator, utilizing these four laws, four functions of creation, of existence in a creationary experienced reality.
Fantastic. Wow. Thank you very much for this encounter. Now, as a last message for us, can you speak to those of us who are listening right now to who I am in the future in that society as an Arcorian, Arvantis? Give a message to planet Earth, or for those who will listen to this, about whatever you think it's important for us to know at this moment in time.
Thank you. Yes, you have, each of you who are listening at this moment, the ability within your DNA to access the awareness of your unconditional loving nature, and thus to feel the infinite love that you are in each moment, to feel that all that you are being, doing, experiencing, expressing is fascinating, unconditionally loving for you, exciting for you, thrilling, meaningful, fulfilling for you. In each moment, yes, you have within you the ability to access, to tune into this reality. Invite this reality to be a part of your reality, and you will get more assistance from your inner guides. Yes, your inner spiritual realm, guardian angels, extraterrestrial counterparts, yes, other aspects of you that exist in the multidimensional infinite that you are will begin to come and to serve and to provide and to share and to educate and to illuminate for you more of this reality. So ask, be open, share in this realm more and more. Be more a part of this language of your infinite, unconditionally loving nature. For it already exists within your DNA. Each and every one of you listening to this now at this moment, without exception, have this within your DNA, this knowingness, this ability. And the more you express desire to access it, the more it begins to open the DNA, to be able, thus then, for you to access it more, to put out this frequency, and thus then it enables you, it connects you more to those other beings around you, your support group, and that then they can begin to find more ways in your unfoldment of life each day to bring about awareness of this, in the idea of opportunity synchronistically unfolding for you to take action and to manifest more awareness of your actual unconditionally loving nature, to be more mindful of how you co-create each moment with the four laws of existence, of creation, the idea therein. You simply can take action as best you can in each moment to do that which is of greatest joy for you, to follow your heart in that sense. For that then what feels to be deeply from your heart, a joy inside your innermost being, is feeling good because it simply is more in alignment with your actual unconditionally loving nature. And it is your higher inner heart letting you know this is the step, the action to take now. That is why it feels good to you, feels from your inner heart to feel really joyful, peaceful, compassionate, playful, filled with laughter, a sense of divinity and divineness. Yes. Anything you imagine or think of or are doing that feels in that realm does so because it is your higher inner heart letting you know this simply is more who you are. Take more action in this direction and you will get back more experiences in this light that are more resonance of who you are in that sense, because what you put out is what you get back. So therein, when you follow your heart, do that you can each moment without question, that which is of greatest of your heart joy and communication to you, follow your heart as best you can in each moment, and therein you will begin more and more to be in the path of your greatest incarnational function in your current lifetime that allows you to be in the perfect place, to meet who you need to meet, to have what you need to have, to experience the most fulfilling, meaningful life, moment to moment to moment, every moment of your life throughout your lifetime in that sense. So, follow your heart, dear ones, and the more then you become one as your heart, for your heart is always right here within you, and it is within each and every one of you in your DNA. Each and every one of you listening to this in this moment can do this, and the more you choose to do this, the more skilled and aware you will become at doing this. So it can take a little time. Don't expect it to happen the first time. Understand it is something to learn how to do, and the more you practice or focus on doing it, the more time you give to learning this, the more effective you become as a co-creationary master of your reality in light with your heart's greatest desires, greatest knowingness of the inner heart, the higher heart, that is in a sense a parallel reality to the blueprint within your DNA and knows precisely how to guide you in each moment to have an unfoldment in each moment of your life that truly is fun, fascinating, and fulfilling for you moment to moment without interruption, without question, without hesitation. So thank you, dear ones. Know then within you all of this is there and accessible by each of you, all of you, without exception, all of you, every one of you. So thank you, yes, Jefferson, dear one, that I, your Arcorian counterpart, the idea Arvantis I am, could come forth and share this with you and all there who are your listeners. Yes, thank you all. Much love from our world to each and every one of you. And good day and good evening and good night, whatever time it may be when you are hearing this. Much love to you all, for you all are infinite loving beings, always. And this is within your DNA. Thank you.
Hey, Arvantis, this is what I'm going to say to you in the name of those who are listening and in the name of our planet. Ar in tor kai morin.
Yes, thank you, dear one. Arin Torakai Marin. Much love. We have our world for you and your world, dear one. Thank you.
Thanks.
Arin Torakai Marin.
So once again, for how many years have you been a channel for entities or
I started in 1995, and then in 1996 I started channeling for, one or two people at a time, and gradually started channeling for groups of people, and now I have branched out and do online channelings, live streaming for everyone around the world who's interested in signing up and joining us online on the live streams. So 1995 is when I got started, and here we are just a short while later, and it's a great joy to interact with you and do this again in this way.
Right.
It seems like just a few weeks ago, even though this is 2014. What is that? That's 19 years?
Right.
Wow. 19 years went by in just a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Great. Oh, that's awesome. So, yeah, I have to say really thank you very much for all your efforts to get these things up and running and to come about and bring these entities and have this beautiful channeling available to us.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jefferson. Yeah.
So
I've
there we go.
I've enjoyed it immensely.
300.
And much joy to all of the listeners, the viewers of this as well. Much love to you all. From me with you.
Shaun,
yes.
Go ahead.
Much love from me to all of you as well.
Oh, fantastic.
There's much love in your hearts, all in each of you. So you were saying, Jefferson, what is it?
So this is the end of dialogue number 300. How are you feeling about it?
Wow, I don't remember doing the other 299, but this one was wonderful.
I remember each one of them.
Okay, you remember all 300.
Right.
You do,
right.
okay, because I haven't been there. You have. So
Right, exactly.
How a joy it must be for you to reach a remarkable number of 300. It's quite an accomplishment you've attained. So thank you for putting yourself out there and time and effort to create all that and to bring all of these people, all of these mediums and spiritualists. I guess I'm a channeler, so each one I guess that you've met with has a different name, or so it's a great joy and thank you for bringing this all together as you have done, chosen to express yourself and focus your time and energy to create this form of gathering and communication and sharing that touches and awakens and educates so many of us as we have opportunity to listen to these videos. This being the 300th, but all of them that you have done before this and those that will come after. Thank you for being one who co-creates this medium of being together in communication and sharing and education. Oh,
Joy. Thanks Thank you very much, man. And then I'm really excited. Today we had the opportunity to talk to my future self. I mean, we still are far and away, myself at least, to really understand how time works in our timelessness. It's really something hard to understand, but we will, right, in time.
Sure.
So
One
I guess
day,
I'll
right now.
talk to you. I guess I'll talk to you at dialogue number 400 then.
Oh, okay. We'll find someone, another entity to channel, perhaps, or Ishua,
Perhaps.
or Arvantis.
Oh well, let's talk to her. You know, I feel that today Arvantis didn't have really the opportunity to share all of his knowledge. We spoke more about his planet and the whereabouts of his society and how they function. But perhaps just another one will be amazing. But we'll ask them and see what we can get. Anything will be most delightful.
Yeah, maybe we can channel Jefferson next time. Hi, this is Jefferson
right.
Viscardi.
Right. No, that would be fun. Great, right? I go to bed and I do astral projection, and then I go there and then I tell people stuff.
Yeah, okay. Maybe.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, perhaps you can set that up in the near future.
Okay.
Thanks, Shaun.
Thank you, Jefferson.
And what day is today? We didn't say that in the
Today is Thursday, April 10th. Thursday, April 10th, 2014.
And what time is it for you there?
Oh, probably, I don't know. What time
Here's
do you...
9 p.m.
So here it's 2 p.m. Yes, it is 2 p.m. Hawaiian time. I am on the island of Maui, and it is April 10th, 2014. And I'm Shaun Swanson, bringing channeling through of Arvantis of the Arcorian civilization and connecting with Jefferson Viscardi, who is in Brazil. And for him, it is 9 p.m. the same
São
date.
Paulo.
Where are you? What city?
São Paulo, Piracicaba.
Piracicaba.
You've got it.
Okay.
Oh, all right, great.
Much love.
Thanks, and
We'll be in touch soon.
much love. Bye.
Bye.